loves, welcome back to my channel, Cami Talks Baby. My name is Cami, and this is my beautiful co-host who is going to be with me in all my videos. Her name is Noelle. She is my 5.5-month-old daughter, and she is pretty much the writer of this entire channel and the reason for the channel. If you have not watched my intro, my channel will just be covering things that I have personally learned. This is not to say that you personally will go through it, but just in case you do, it's a precaution. So if you watch my video and then this shit happens to you too, you'll be like, oh, I learned it from Cami's video. So what we are going to be discussing today is... Tell him, Mama. Okay, I'll tell him. We are going to be discussing things that I did not know would happen to me until I was pregnant. And these are things that, like I said in my previous video, guys, I just... I watch YouTube videos, I read articles, and it's just things that I did not know what happened to me, and they did, and I was kind of like shocked, and I would call the nurse hotline and annoy the crap out of them. I think they hated me, but for the amount of times that I called. But it's just things I learned, and later on. So that being said, let's get started. Okay, so the first thing we will be discussing are the prenatal vitamins. So if you are currently pregnant, and I'm sure you know this, but just in case you don't, I will tell you, it is recommended that you take a prenatal vitamin every single day because it's good because it contains folic acid, which you can find in like leafy greens and like salmon and stuff of that nature, but they would want you also to take a prenatal vitamin. So I took one as soon as I found out I was pregnant, which was when I was 5 weeks in. So I was taking my prenatal vitamin, and I noticed that I would get really nauseous when I would take it. So I just, wrote it off as morning sickness because, that's what they tell you. Oh, you're not gonna vomit. But I was vomiting, I couldn't figure out if it was the morning sickness, but I just wrote it off as that. But I noticed that I would start getting immediately kind of nauseous right after I took my pill, my prenatal vitamin. So I just kind of thought that was coincidental, so I just kept going with it. But then one day, I was getting sick of feeling nauseous all the time. I was into my second trimester, which is usually, not every time, some women do suffer all throughout, but usually second trimester, you're kind of done with the morning sickness, and that's like the honeymoon trimester. But I was thinking, okay, let me stop taking my prenatal vitamin in the morning because I would take it before I would go to work, before, I stopped working. So I stopped taking it. So I started taking it at night, right before bed. I would take it and then go to sleep. And I noticed that the nausea immediately ended. So I wrote it off as prenatal vitamins actually do make you nauseous. And again, not every woman is going to feel this way. Some women are like, I took my prenatal and I feel fine. What are you talking about, dude? Yeah, no, but some women, a lot of the time, will feel morning sickness, or not morning sickness, but some type of nausea when they take a prenatal. I don't know if it's the amount of iron, if it's too much iron. I don't know if it's the folic acid. I don't know what it is because I'm not a doctor, but the prenatal vitamin does make you feel nauseous. So if you are feeling nauseous after taking it, or you just wrote it off as morning sickness like I did, I would just start taking your prenatal vitamin at night and see what a difference that makes. So number 2 that I want to discuss with you ladies out there is that you might experience insomnia like I did. So I don't know about you guys, but that came as a shock to me, just because when that you get pregnant, people say that you're really sleepy, you sleep a lot. And don't get me wrong, I did get really sleepy. Like when I worked my first trimester, I thought I was gonna pass out on the counter at work or my desk at work, but that is true. You do get really sleepy, but you do also develop the worst insomnia, and it sucked because, and I don't know why I developed insomnia, and it's not just me. I've heard other moms say that they also had really terrible insomnia while they were pregnant. It could be a matter of reasons, honestly. Personally, I have anxiety, which just heightened during my pregnancy because I was constantly worried about my baby. Like, is she okay? Is her heartbeat still going? Like, is she good? Like, I would always be worried about her. It was like psychotic how much I would worry about this child while I was pregnant. But it did heighten a lot, my anxiety during pregnancy. Also, just in case you ladies out there don't know this, but doctors do recommend that while you're pregnant, you do sleep on your left-hand side. I personally hated sleeping on my side. I still do. As soon as, she was born, I started sleeping on my back, which is how I had slept always my whole life. So you sleep on your left-hand side, not your right-hand side. Something about more like oxygen to the baby. I don't know the specific reason, but they like you to sleep on your left-hand side. So since I was sleeping on my side, I also was so uncomfortable I couldn't sleep. And also as the weeks went on, I would get, stomach would get bigger and bigger and bigger. So it would become way more uncomfortable for me to sleep. So that's probably another reason why I had insomnia and why women out there develop insomnia while they're pregnant. Also, as you get bigger, obviously you'll get more pressure, down there. So you have to pee more. You feel like you have to pee all the time. It sucks. Not UTI sucks, but it does suck. You do have to pee a lot. So that's probably another reason why insomnia develops for a lot of pregnant ladies. But just be prepared for that, ladies, because, I know that you guys, not everyone, but I know some of you women think that you'll be sleeping a lot, and they're going to take advantage of all your sleep, because as soon as your baby's born, you'll be getting, close to nothing of sleep. But you can also lose sleep while you're pregnant, and it does suck. So just, try if you can. I know a lot of you work, but try to get a nap in there, maybe as soon as you get home from work or like during your hour lunch break, what have it. Just make sure you get some type of rest. It is super, super important for pregnant women to get lots and lots of rest. So the insomnia is going to suck, but try to kick it. But try to get some sleep, even if it has to be during the day somewhere. Number 3 for me that I experienced, and this happened in my 3rd trimester. So, as everyone knows, women gain weight in their pregnancy. Some gain 10 pounds, some gain 50 pounds, some gain 80 pounds. But I gained about 32 pounds. But for some reason, for me, where I gained most of the weight was in my 3rd trimester. So first trimester, I didn't gain much, probably like 8 pounds, I want to say. Second trimester, I gained just a few pounds, but about like 20 something pounds I gained in my 3rd trimester. So I kind of just ballooned up my 3rd trimester. And I knew that was going to happen, so this isn't one of the ones I was going to give you. But one thing I do want to say to you is that you might develop, especially if you were already kind of high weight, above average weight to begin with, like I was, you will most likely develop a really bad groin pain. I didn't know what it was at first, and I didn't, I would read articles trying to find it, and I didn't really find that this happened to a lot of women. So you might, hopefully it doesn't happen to you. But during the 3rd trimester, and I'm talking towards the end of the 3rd trimester, probably the last 2 weeks maybe until she was born, I developed the worst, I'm telling you, the worst groin pain ever. I felt like my muscles and TMI, sorry, my vagina just broke or something. It was terrible. I couldn't walk. I would walk a few steps and just the pain around your groin, your vaginal muscle area, it hurt. I know I'm not using these terms correctly at all, but it fucking hurt, it was terrible. I couldn't walk. It felt really sore, kind of like your vagina was holding a bowling ball. Sorry to sound so dramatic, but it was that dramatic. It sucked. Just the pain was the worst, and I know that some women out there will experience that. I could not find articles on it on my favorite app, which is Baby Center. I know I'm not a sponsor for them, but I love Baby Center. And I finally found one article with only a few women commenting on it, saying that, yeah, I experienced that groin pain. So I know that it's out there. I know it exists. I know it's a pregnancy symptom and not me just being, weird, my body being weird. So if you develop some type of muscular, it feels like a vaginal muscle pull, if that's even correct, which I doubt it is. But if you feel any type of groin pain, especially in your 3rd trimester, that's normal. Do not freak out. It doesn't mean that you're going to labor or something's wrong with your body, and a million weird things are going to happen in your body. And obviously, if you feel uncomfortable, check with your doctor. I am not a doctor. I'm just, again, going through my experience with you guys. But if you feel any type of weird, achy muscle pain in your vaginal area, that's completely normal. It is normal. Because I called my doctor about it, and she said, yeah, that happens. It's rare, but it can happen. So just keep that in mind. Hey guys, we're back. New sexy outfit. Me and Noelle, as always, dressed better than me. I was imagining, my child just kicked the camera. I was imagining the perfect birth plan. Like, I was imagining, I knew it was gonna hurt, but I was just picturing, you know, just bliss and the bond, you know, between mother and baby when she came out of my vagina. And I was gonna hold her and she's gonna be all bloody and it was gonna be beautiful, and that didn't happen at all. So this little one right here, my co-host, she never flipped. She was breech the whole time. She was chilling, cushioned, you know, seat up inside my belly. You know, she was having a seat, you know, at the beach, you know, because she did not want to flip over. She didn't want to be upside down. I mean, who can blame her? Who the hell wants to be upside down? But she didn't flip, and the doctor told me, like, hey, you have to try different methods. You know, there's like some crazy shit that you can try. Something called, I believe it's called moxibustion. I'm so sorry if I mispronounced that. It's like an acupuncture where they put like a needle by your pinky toe, I believe, and that's supposed to get the baby to flip. Wild. I don't know. I don't really know holistic health, so I'm sorry if you're a huge advocate of it. It's just because I don't know. I'm ignorant to it. There's also getting on an ironing board and hanging upside down, thinking that the baby will flip over, because when you're upside down, the baby will be upside down. They'll be like, oh, this is uncomfortable, so they'll flip, you know, to try to be upside up again, and it's pretty much tricking the baby. But my girl over here was way too smart. She's like, nah, I'm chilling here. So I reached, I believe, 32 weeks, and she still didn't flip. So my doctor told me, okay, we're gonna schedule you for a C-section, and 39 weeks, is when you get your C-section. And if she's flipped by then perfect, then never mind about the C-section. But if she's still, you know, hasn't flipped, then we're gonna do it. So guess what? Got to 39 weeks, still feeling hopeful because I'm crazy. And she didn't flip. So they went ahead and scheduled me, and they did the C-section. So I have a whole other video on C-sections and how tough they are. But I was not picturing a C-section at all. I was not thinking in my head that I was going to have a C-section. You know, like I said, I was picturing beautiful vaginal birth, and what I get? A C-section. And, you know, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. But again, that's another video, another time. But it's still, I was disappointed, you know, and I didn't feel like a woman, which is so stupid saying out loud, but at that time I didn't feel like a woman because I didn't know what the feelings of contractions were. Hey, what's wrong? I don't know what the feelings of contractions were. I didn't know how it felt to go into labor. Like, I didn't, you know, have a vaginal birth. I didn't like get to hold my child. Like, they kind of had to put her next to my head. And my fiance was holding her for me. So I didn't get to experience any of that, and I was really upset. I was really bummed out. I was really hard on myself. Like, it was my fault. It was her fault. Like, it was my fault. And I just, if you go through that experience, if you are pregnant and you go through that experience, please don't beat yourself up like I did. You are not less of a woman than someone that gave vaginal birth. Trust me, you're not. Gave birth just the same. It's the same shit. It sucks. It hurts either way. Trust me, C-sections hurt a lot too. So you will go through the pain as well. Maybe not in the beginning, but after. So just don't knock yourself down for that. What matters is that your baby comes out healthy, and that's it. That's all that matters. So do not come up with the perfect birth plan, because it's so unpredictable. It's so crazy. Anything could go wrong. Just be prepared to, if you are pregnant, be prepared do your research on both vaginal births and C-sections, because I made the mistake of just looking up stuff about vaginal birth, you know, like the pain I'm going to go through, you know, how to heal after one. So look into C-sections too.